and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. That's right, today we're back to do my end of the month video. So yeah, before we get started, just the usual, if you haven't seen one of these videos before, this is where I talk about every movie I watched for the first time last month. So what was it? It was August. Get so mixed up with time now. Going through the year so quick. So yeah, August, these are just first time watches. So in terms of rewatches, I don't talk about them. TV shows, don't talk about them. It's just movies. If you do want to see what I'm rewatching and stuff, please do go give me a follow on Letterboxd, because I'm constantly logging everything I watch on there. And for those of you who are wondering why Oppenheimer and Barbie are not on this list, because I'm pretty sure my reviews for them will be out before this video. I'm filming this before I've seen those films. So they'll be at the start of... Oh, no, they'll be at the start of August's video. This is for July. See, I told you I'm getting so mixed up in time. It's just so much going on. It's actually one of my shorter lists as well. I didn't see near as many films I normally do. That's because I went away to Hungary for the Grand Prix. I've had just so much on this month. So, like, work's been crazy. It's been one of my busiest months. So, yeah, we're going to crack on still, though. Just get my list here up. I think we've got a solid 14 films or so here to go over. Let me have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 17 films. So anyway, I'm going to shift on over here so you can see the lovely movie posters. Let me tilt this over here. And we're going to kick things off with Limelight, which of course is a Charlie Chaplin film. I always really enjoy going back to the Charlie Chaplin stuff. Again, this was a really good one. I'm so used to seeing him from that 30 or even 20s, 30s, 40s classic silent era of music. So it's interesting seeing him play a character like this, which is quite different from his hobo silent character. I think there's a lot of good stuff in this film. It does go through a lot of different stages. I think the acts are very well split up, and it's kind of obvious when things are going to happen. But there's some good humour in this. Charlie Chaplin's really good in this movie. It felt very different for him, which I liked. But yeah, I don't have loads down this one, to be honest. It's one of those older films where I don't know, I struggle a little bit. But I struggle to compose my thoughts, I mean. But I did have a very good time with this film because I love Charlie Chaplin. He's such a great actor. Every time I watch anything with him in, I am really just quite glued to it, to be honest. He's one of those actors which commands your attention, to be honest. And that's always a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm going to give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have a film which I really don't have much to say on, to be honest, and that's Carry On Constable. These Carry On films all kind of blend together. They all feel very similar. I preferred this to the last couple I watched. I forget what one of them was called. Carry On Teacher. I've already forgotten what the other one was called. But this one felt like it went back to Carry On Sergeant a bit more. I think it is because of the scenarios they're put in here. Carry On Constable, again, there's this authority figure, and there's like a line of duty type style that they need to follow, and there's a lot of good comedic aspects built around that, which works really well. I thought, again, that the characters were all pretty funny. You've got, obviously, you've got a lot of actors that return for this. And I wish that they'd mix up their roles a bit. These same actors always seem to play the same type of characters. I wish that maybe they would mix that up a bit. But, yeah, there's some good stuff in this still. It's fine. I got a few good chuckles out of me. But, you know, these Carry On films, as I say, they all kind of blend into one a bit for me. I'll give this film a 6 out of 10, though. Then we have Pneumonia. Apologies if I pronounce that wrong. I probably am. It's a new animated Netflix film. And, you know, it stars Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz, two fantastic actors, and the animation style, it looked interesting from the trailers. It's weird. There are some scenes where I really like the animation style, and it pops quite well, and I always appreciate Netflix when they do try different things like this, because they do it sometimes, but then it also looks really cheap at times. But first of all, I want to say Riz Ahmed and Chloe Grace Moretz, they both are the standouts. They give really good voice performances, and I think that they're both really well suited to doing animated features. Unfortunately, the story was pretty bland. Like, you've seen this plot before. I thought it was really quite generic in a lot of the stuff it done with, you know, the whole betrayal aspect, someone being framed. It was obvious who the villain was going to be. I thought that the powers that Chloe Grace's character had was pretty kind of like, yeah, just seen it all before kind of thing. I think that's where this film gets let down, is its originality is just really bottom tier, which is a shame because there's some cool themes around this film. There's glimpses of something better, but what we got was just an okay film at best. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Then we have The Outlaws, the new comedy film, which I think went to Disney Plus. I can't even remember. It might have been Netflix. I can't remember. I watched it for Pierce Brosnan, basically, because I love Pierce Brosnan. And to be honest, you could tell this man took this as a paycheck. Because everyone else in it was horrible. The main guy, Andy something, I forget his name. I just do not find him funny. All of the surrounding characters, so generic. You could predict exactly what they were going to do. The plot itself is so unbelievably uninteresting. I don't think I laughed once. It's way too long as well, even though it's only like an hour and 40 or something. But it just drags. It feels so long. It feels like one of those comedy films that The Rock would have done in like 2010 or 2011. But worse than some of them. Yeah, this was a really bad film, to be honest. I did not have a good time with it. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 10. Then we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I've reviewed this here in detail on the channel, so yeah, I'm going to go quick. It's great. The Mission Impossible franchise continues to just be this incredible monster of a machine in Hollywood, where it's not only putting out really fun, action-packed movies, it's putting out really well-made films as well. They're really smart, there's a lot of thought that goes into them, and they're constantly pushing boundaries in how this action is filmed. Like the stunt where Tom Cruise goes off the cliff on a bike is just fantastic, and you could tell the lengths they went to film that, instead of just using CGI to cover up the whole screen. And it's great. I say the plot's intelligent, I like all the characters. The villains were a little bit weak, I guess. Or the main villain was. I quite like Pom Clementine's character, being this kind of quirky, weird assassin woman. But yeah, the main group as well was fantastic. Wasn't a huge fan what they done with Rebecca Ferguson's character, but other than that, I had a really, really fun time with this film. I thought it was really good. It's my second favourite Mission Impossible film now, after Fallout. I'm going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. Then we have Marathon Man. I only have one film left now in my premium collection to watch. But Marathon Man was the second to last. Dustin Hoffman. I love Dustin Hoffman. And Rob Schneider. I think that's his name. The guy from Jaws. I love him. Another really good actor. 2010 as well. So yeah, you got two of my two actors I really like in this. And to be honest, they play brothers. And the best scenes in this movie are those two going back and forth. Because Rob's character is a bit more stern, I guess, whereas Dustin Hoffman's character is a lot more laid back, and there's some really good scenes where they're at a restaurant and Dustin Hoffman's girlfriend's there, and there's some really interesting back and forth scenes between those two. And it's really interesting to see how this plot derails as the film goes on. I think I preferred the first half of this film to the back half, but there's still some really good scenes in the back half, and there's a torture scene involving some teeth, and I actually had to look away. There's something about teeth, and when like torture stuff on it, it's hard to watch. This was a surprisingly pretty good movie, to be fair. Better than I thought it'd be. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have In the Line of Fire from Mr. Clint Eastwood. I love Clint Eastwood, as everyone knows. He really is becoming my favourite actor ever. This is a bit more back to his roots of doing some action stuff. His character failed to save President Kennedy back in the 60s. And now there's an assassination attempt by a guy who's played by John Malkovich, and he does a great job in this film as well. There's an assassination attempt that's going to happen on the current president, and it's about Clint Eastwood. Can he redeem himself and save this president? And it's so much fun. It's such a good film. The energy between Clint Eastwood's character and our antagonist, even though they don't meet, they don't talk loads, the tension is just there from the word go. And when they do meet and talk, it's so good. The action sequences are great. The chase scenes are really fun. And the showdown at the end is just really, really great. Clint Eastwood, just such an incredible man on this fantastic industry. I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. Then we have Rebirth of Mothra 2. Yeah, I watched Rebirth of Mothra like 4 months ago, and I didn't really care for it too much. I thought it was okay. So I finally come around to watch the second one here, and yeah, this is one of the worst kaiju films I've ever seen. For a start, again, like the first one, Mothra's like barely in this, and I don't really know why. The villain was really bad. The little villains that ride around, the little villain that rides around on the little flying thing is like just cringe beyond belief. It's like something out of Power Rangers. I know that these are kids' films, but the dialogue is awful. The kid characters sucked. The CGI was really terrible. Yeah, everything about this film was really bad, to be honest. Rebirth of Mothra 2, it can have a 1.5 out of 10. Honestly, it was really, really bad. Then we have Bird Box. That's right, I've never seen Bird Box, but the new one, Barcelona, just come out, so I was like, I should probably watch the first one. And starring Sandra Bullock, of course, and John Malkovich again. You know, he's a really good actor, and he's really wasted in this film, because this film's really quite bad. I don't get why this film was so big for a while, or the hype around it, because yeah, it's really boring. A lot of the characters suck. The tension just isn't there. Sandra Bullock's character is very uninteresting. The time jumps don't add anything to this film. It doesn't add any character or intelligence to it. It just makes it more uninteresting, if anything. It's way too long. A Quiet Place is just a lot better, because obviously I know those two films tend to get compared a lot, because one, you can't look at the monsters, one, you can't make loud noises around the monsters. There's, you know, they get compared a lot. Quiet Place is a million times better. Bird Box was actually a pretty dull, boring movie. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. But then we have Box Barcelona, as I say, a spin-off film. I think they are actually doing a proper sequel at some point to Bird Box. God help us all. But yeah, you know, they made a worse film here without a doubt. The characters are terrible. The main guy is awful. All the side characters suck. The setting, the location, it's really grimy, and it doesn't work very well with the film, I don't think. Yeah, I was so bored. So bored. I think I had a couple of films on my watch list at this point, and I was thinking, I was tempted just to turn this one off, just to go watch another one, to be honest. Bird Box Barcelona, bad movie. I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Then we have The Bridges of Madison County, another Clint Eastwood film, and here we've done the opposite. We've gone from a action film to kind of a romance film here. I've got a lot of Beyond Sunset vibes, with just the location and the setting and the lighting, and just watching these two people slowly fall in love. Here the romance wasn't quite as high. You're dealing with an older couple, and it takes a bit of time, but when you get there, the relationship that's built around Meryl Streep's character and Clint Eastwood's is really good. There's some really nice moments between them. And the ending of the film goes in a very, very interesting direction, which you could sort of see coming, but it was handled really well. And yeah, just, again, I admire Clint so much for always pushing the boundaries and doing different projects all the time. This feels very different to Line of Fire. Yeah, really good film again. I'm going to give this film 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Heat. Yes. I watched this, actually, the first half of this on my flight back from Hungary. And I finished it when I got home. Man, Al Pacino is one of the best actors ever. Like, he gives such an incredible performance in this film. He is so good. De Niro in this as well, really good. De Niro he's such a master of his craft, because in this film there are moments where you see glimpses of humanity coming through in his character when he's with this woman that he's slowly falling in love with, even though I found that aspect of the movie a little bit false at times. But that aspect as well also allowed you to connect with De Niro's character a bit more, and I thought it was really well portrayed. And then he'll do something horrible, and you're like, yeah, you need to die. You're a horrible person. And I think it speaks wonders for De Niro. But again, a lot of the side characters are great in this. You've got a fantastic cast surrounding this movie. But Al Pacino steals it. He is so good in this movie. I don't think I've ever seen a bad performance from Al Pacino other than maybe Jack and Jill. But, you know, we tend to forget that film exists, right? Yeah, he's just so fantastic in this film. Yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about this film. I think that the runtime maybe goes a little bit too long, maybe, just a touch. But I think it's a pretty damn fantastic film, to be honest. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Then we have The Professionals. This film, I watched it on my flight out to Hungary, and again, I finished it when I got home. I finished Heat first because I literally just stepped off the plane. I was like, I'll finish that one first because I'm still very much into that one. The Professionals, I love my old westerns, and this was a pretty good one. I think that it does rush into getting this gang together really quick. You got these 4 people that specialise in different things. One's great with his explosives, for example, his dynamite. And it does very much really quickly get you into that. And I think the first half of the film works really well, seeing them on their journey, seeing them get to know each other, and work out their personality kinks and stuff. There's some really cool stuff there. And in the back half of the movie, I don't know, I found myself losing a bit of interest. The action sequences were fun. I think the film probably peaks in the middle action sequence at the end of Act 2. But yeah, I think I enjoyed the first half of this film a lot more than the back half. But it's still a decent film. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Then we have The Big Boss, which of course you just might be able to see. I don't have the posters covering it. My new Bruce Lee box set, which was so incredibly kindly sent to me by my friend Luke, who I've thanked. To be honest, I can't thank him enough for it. It is one of the kindest gifts I've ever got. But yeah, I cracked into that, and I had such a fun time with this one. Bruce Lee, my first Bruce Lee film, he was great in it, obviously. And I've got to say, the choreography, the martial arts going on in this film is just off the chart. It is so well done. Like, truly, it's so much fun. And I think along with that, some of the cheesy dialogue just really complements this film. It knows what it is and it runs with it. I think the plot is quite fun, how he just gets mixed up in this kind of big mob boss gang situation. And I think with that comes a lot of great elements. The music in this film as well. Just so much fun. It all just sort of blends together really well. And it's one of my favourite things. I love these kind of older 60s, 70s cheesy action movies like this. You don't get films like this anymore. Yeah, it was just so much fun, to be honest. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Then we have Following. I am going to see Oppenheimer in literally about 2 hours. And I can't wait. But there's one Christopher Nolan film I haven't watched, and that is Following. So I thought I'd watch it. And yeah, you could tell this is his first film. Compared to all of his others, it's really low budget. It's really slow paced. It's not very long at all. It's black and white. All of these things, you know, to be fair, Nolan does do a bit of black and white. But all of these things go against Nolan's normal traits today. But it was quite interesting. I really enjoyed the idea of this film, what some of the characters were doing in it. And I like the way some of the relationships went. But yeah, honestly, I don't have loads to say about it. It's fine. It is what it is. Nolan still does not have a bad film. And I don't think the man ever will, to be honest. I thought this was decent. It was enjoyable enough. It didn't blow me away, but it is what it is. It was fine. Give it a 6 out of 10. Then we have Fist of Fury, the next Bruce Lee film. And to be honest, I think I might have slightly preferred this to The Big Boss, just because I found the plot a bit more interesting and the final showdown a bit better. But very similar feelings to the last one. Great martial arts, you know, the choreography is fantastic. Really good side characters, which I really enjoyed. The cheesy dialogue's a lot of fun. The music is even better in this one. It's so cheesy over the top. I love it. I love this kind of score style that these films had. Yeah, pretty much the exact same feelings. A lot of fun though. Had a great time with it. 7.5. And the final film I watched was Absolute Power, another Clint Eastwood film. Again, another very, very interesting one about him getting mixed up with some dodgy stuff with the president of America. And again, just seeing where this plot went and how it unraveled was really, really quite interesting. A lot of characters in this are so fun to hate with the villains. You really do end up rooting against them, as you should with most villains. But these ones are just so awful. They're fun to hate. And compliments to the actors playing them as well, because, you know, they all do a fantastic job. Clint's great in it, good directing. Yeah, all around a pretty good movie there. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, time for me to pick my film of the month. You know, for me it's between two. It's between Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Heat. But I'm getting used to these Mission Impossible films being this good now. I'm going to go with Heat. Heat was a terrific film. And one which I already am looking forward to rewatching, to be honest. Al Pacino is really one of the greatest actors of all time, and I can't wait to watch more things with him in. Even though I think I've seen most of his big ones now, but there's still a couple I've got to watch. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.